Welcome back to Chaos Corner, here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy. And I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this. Coming to you live to tape 25 feet below the surface of the earth. I'm live, but I'm taping at the same time. You guys get the idea. Who the fuck? My fans know what I'm talking about. Live to tape. I can't thank you guys enough for being here. It's another episodic YouTube adventure here with the GOC. That's me. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog to you, the fans. I just want to go back to go forward and forward to go back. I want to thank you to the over 63,000 fans that tuned in 2 weeks ago. And I want to thank you to the over 50,000 fans that have tuned in this past week. I can't thank you guys enough. It means a lot to me. A little wow factor here on the YouTube channel. Shout out to my moderators, my brother from another mother, Austin Nance, and the OTS Tribal Queen. Fans, navigate the playlist. There's over 4,000 videos. Everything from in-ring action to my career and all those I've been involved with and worked with on the same events, to Chaos Corner, the show, because it's not a fucking podcast, it's a show. We're coming up on over 500 episodes. Go to the classics, go to story time, go to, as I said, in-ring action. Navigate the playlist, go to dinner for two. Go to the shorts page and you'll see family fun where I get to let you know, put a face to the product and see me as the family man that I am. So that's what you get right here. Reality. In order to get respect, you have to start with respecting yourself. Once you do that, you open other people's minds to respecting you. And there's three types of people in this world. Those who don't know what happened, those who wonder what happened, and people like the GOC that make things happen. So what we're going to do here, fans, today, now that we're past the big distraction that was in the room, the election, let's see what happens going forward in this next 74 or 75 days. As we head into the holiday season, Thanksgiving is around the corner. We go into Christmas, New Year's Eve, and then we are in baby New Year 2025. So things are moving quick here through 2024. And again, it's been a banner year. A bonanza extravaganza here on Guardian of Chaos. Follow me on all other social media platforms, which are limited now. No more Instagram, no more Parler, no more Truth Social, no more Gab. I'm off all of those platforms. I am on here, YouTube, which has their foot on my throat personally. But we're going to work that out, aren't we, YouTube? I'm over on Twitter, aka X, where I'm active every day, just about. If you're not over there, it can be toxic if you want to be, but if you just ignore the noise and keep your eye on the prize and focus on what you want to use the platform for, there's no problems. Everybody else you just ignore. So over on X, aka Twitter, it's at Big Daddy GOC. Small letters for Big Daddy, giant for GOC. And the GOC stands for the Guardian of Chaos. And if you want to be in a personal exclusive club, over on Facebook. 2 accounts on Facebook for promotion, for family, friends, co-workers, to stay in touch with people, more exclusive, letting you into my life and what I'm all about. It's not just a persona, a gimmick, it's the way I live. It's a character, but it's me, the GOC. It's a fine line. It's a part of who I am. So over on Facebook, there's 2 accounts. Jay Brony, for all you pencil necks. That's right, Jay Brony. Just like it sounds. If you, hey, Jay Brony. Jabronis, get it? I know that you do. And then my more personal account, even less, about 500 members. In honor of my heritage, at Prodigio Fidelis El Guardian. Let me say it again. Prodigio Fidelis El Guardian. Follow me on those social media platforms. You'll catch me just about daily if you want to be involved in this channel, this show. Not any better than anyone else. Just unique. Over 2,000 subscribers now. Last month, 180 videos, 66 shorts, or the right, vice versa, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Nobody works harder for you than I do in this community in the IWC. Yeah, okay, I don't have the green screen and the graphics and the music and the high tech and making it 2024 futuristic 2025. I respect that. I love that. The visual is unbelievable. But I give it to you this way. As raw as I can, as unique as I can, as impromptu as I can. Coming from the OG. I've been doing this since the 90s, at least on TV. You know, my over 30 years into career as a pro wrestling manager, who took the fucking bumps. Remember that. Coming out 2 and 3 times a night. I didn't sign a contract. I wasn't in the major leagues, but I worked with over 30 Hall of Famers. I worked the AAA and AA level for most of my career. Hall of Famers, heroes, legends, young lions, veterans, future stars. Humbled and honored to be a part of that. Probably 200 times a year around the country as a manager during that time on somebody else's dime. I'm blessed and thankful and humble and fortunate. And that's what I can bring to you in what we do here. It's about giving back. This is my legacy. I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Look back in that rearview mirror. It's there for a reason. It's definitely smaller for a reason. It's the past. It's to look back. It's to honor those who have paved the way before you. Remember it. Don't ever forget it. Learn from it. Without it, you would not be where you are now in 2024, going into 2025, or where you want to go. And that's why the windshield is big and as wide as it can be on the vehicle. Because you look full speed ahead, step on that pedal, and that's where you're going. Let's roll. Honor it. That's why you're here, and that's where you're going. Just tell it like it is. Stay mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually fit. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Live and let live. As long as you don't tread on me or impose on me, we're going to be okay. And if you do, know that win, lose, or draw, this is what's happening. You're in for a mental, physical, spiritual, emotional battle from this channel and from the GOC. Keep your head on a swivel. If he's for us, nobody else can be against us is the most important message. He died for us. I'm not going to get too crazy because YouTube will step all over me. I'm here for a much-needed distraction, a temporary distraction, a stress reliever, love, motivation, passion, all of it combined. So thanks for being here. Let's get motivated. Let's get started. I'm going to do a couple of different shows. Let's get through the end of the week into the weekend. The weather's been decent. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. So stay within the day. Yesterday's gone. You can't bring it back. Tomorrow hasn't unfolded yet. Stay present. Stay focused. I love you guys, and I mean that. My family and friends that are watching as well. Chin chin, salud, cheers, chindan, whatever the fuck you want to say, man. Here's to you. No, they're not a sponsor. Nobody's a sponsor anymore. Nobody. Got kicked to the curb. I'm picking tar out of my ass. I'm just saying. Bing, bing, bing! Ricochet Rabbit. If you know, you know. Remember, Red Bull, it gives you wings. Isn't that what the commercial says? Maybe I'll clip that, or somebody clip that, and we'll send it over to Red Bull. It gives you wings. All right, here we go. You guys know I've been doing this series on PWI. Top 10. Then we went 11 through 20. I'm thinking about going through the whole PWI top 500, but it's basically irrelevant, and that's my main problem and bitch with PWI, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and why I keep calling you out for all the way to the show from last year. Remember, and I said it before, and I'll say it again in these, I grew up in the magazine era of the 70s, when everything was kayfabe and into the 80s, excuse me. where it was imagination and even tape trading in the 80s. It was a totally different world and ball game.
Someone was detected at your front camera.
Always watching, always listening. Eyes are everywhere here at the Ponderosa, where I only paid 99 cents for a magazine. And you're charging over $10 for this now? You're putting a lot of work into it, but it's persona non grata. It's irrelevant. We're in November of 2024, and I get it for publishing reasons, trying to be ahead of the curve, but it becomes irrelevant. In this day of social media and consumption and how we consume our media, our sports, our information, whatever, it's irrelevant by the time you put it out. It's dated December 2024. So we're already a month ahead, and this has been out for, I don't know, a month. And if you go to the back of the rankings, which is what I want to do today, it's for the period ending August 18th, 2024. So we'll say just about almost the end of the summer. So in technicality, and we'll see it when we go through some of the rankings here, because we're not going to do the PWI Top 500. Go back and see the shows from the last week or so. I did 1 through 10, 10 through 20. I did a section on rankings for this past summer of 2024, June and July. Good shows, 35 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Roxanne Perez is on the thumbnail, one of them. So go check that out, and then go to Chaos Corner, navigate, they're in chronological order, and you'll see the review I did from a year ago when I got all over PWI. Listen, I love everybody over there. They're hard workers, but it's not like the magazine era, and there was competition. I feel like it's a monopoly now. That's what I think this is. Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I'm just telling you the truth. So check those shows out. Drop an elbow on that like button. Maybe give it a little bink. I didn't get anybody in the eyes, did I? We did cover in the top 10, top 20 over the last week or so of PWI, the same magazine. We covered the top heavyweights and who they were at the time and where we sit here now in November of 2021. There's no 24, Freudian slip. 2024. There's no SmackDown tonight. There's no Raw. There's no NXT. There's no Dynamite. There's no Collision. I don't believe there's Ring of Honor, New Japan. There might be TNA Impact tonight. Maybe even NWA as we go a little bit further down in the bigger promotions. Well, a little oxymoron. So what? So we already know we went through that. What I'm going to go through right now, I'm going to go through the top 10 women in the world from this summer, the end of the summer, August into September 2024, according to Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which is dated December 2024. And they want you to pay $10, $11, $12 for this. Again, you're becoming irrelevant for the magazine era and true journalists and what we were meant to be back then. Back to the 70s, the magazine era. Go back, fans, and get the magazines from the 70s and 80s. It's all storytelling, emotional investment. It was kayfabe. I know it's not real. Wake up, man. Hello, McFly. Is anybody home? I get it. But this is what we're presenting to you because we're in this community. The IWC. Pro wrestling fans. Researcher, agent, scout, historian, putter up of rings, breaker down, sweeper of floors, hanging up flyers, selling tickets, pro wrestling manager, smark, fan, mark. That's right, I said it, a mark. We're all marks at one time or another, and I'm proud to say it. But what's wrong with that, what I say, man? Lighten up. You never know what I'm going to say or going to do here, or even what I'm going to present. So let's go to the top 10 this past summer of 2024. Let me know what you think in the premiere chat. We haven't covered the women yet. I'm just glad they stopped with the horse shit of last year or 2 years ago when they were putting in the top heavyweights, the top tag teams. They were combining men and women like it was an intergender division and was the most absolute fucking absurd thing the PWI has ever done. Really? Can we keep the genders separate? And also along with no men and women's sports? What's wrong with that? Start your own fucking division, but at least with the genders, because there's only two, men and women, no matter what the rest of you think. Don't get offended. We should be able to talk and don't get offended. Just telling it like it is. That's what I do. And that's the view from this person's seat on this channel. So here we go with the top women here on Chaos Corner. Number one at the time, remember the time frame, we are at the end of the summer of 2024, although it officially ended in September of 2024. And we are now in November of 2024, and this is decided this December 24. I'm as confused as a baby at Hooters. Number one at the time, she was number 5 in the last rankings for top women. So she went from 5 to number 1. And that would be Liv Morgan, the WWE Women's World Champion. And if I'm not mistaken, currently here in November, Liv Morgan is still the women's champion. That's a fact, Jack. So, is she the best women's wrestler in the world? Absolutely not. But is she holding the number 1 women's title in the world? Yes. So I guess you can't really argue with Liv Morgan, but you can argue with her in-ring skills. And now she's hooked up with Dirty Dom. I get it. Number 2 at the time in the top 10 women of the world, Toni Storm. Timeless Toni Storm, who was the AEW Women's World Champion. Now, technically, she could arguably be number 1 then and now, although she hasn't competed recently since losing the current champion in AEW, Mariah May. Pretty solid grappler, but the storyline has gone nowhere after being one of the hottest in AEW. So Toni Storm here definitely could be number 2. It's arguably she could be number 1, but then you say, well, how could you beat the number 1 company in the world in this industry, in this business? And that's a valid point. So currently, Toni Storm, here in the end of summer of 2024, Toni Storm was the AEW Women's Champion. Right now, the Women's Champion, boy, let me think about that, because I know there's Mercedes Moné, who's got the dual belts, and she's the TBS Champion. The Women's Champion, hello? Is anyone home? I'll say it again, McFly and Mariah May. I just said it. My mind's like a lazy Susan. It'll come back around. Now, do I think Mariah May is the number 2 woman in the world? I don't think so as of right now. So here's where we were in the summer of 2024. Number 3 in the women's top 10 in the summer of 2024, Nia Jax, who at the time was the WWE Women's Champion, the second women's championship in the company, because they have a brand split. Now, I don't agree with it. I get it, you have a big roster, you want to put out as many belts as possible, but I thought that's what the secondary belts were. U.S. belt, international, intercontinental, light heavyweight, whatever belts you want to have, tag teams, there's more belts than you could imagine. More than Carter has liver pills, if you get that reference. I don't know, maybe I'm showing my age. But Nia Jax, number 3. A lot of people say she hurts the girls in the ring. She's certainly a force to be reckoned with. Again, I don't know why we can't have one world champion, whether it's men or women. So I guess I will have to agree, since maybe it's the second or third most important championship in women's pro wrestling in the world. Nia Jax at number 3. Now, physically in the ring, is she the 3rd best worker? That's not what they're going by here. And I'll get on to what they're qualifying for as far as the ratings and what the categories are, what the criteria is. Number 4 for the women's top 20, Jordynne Grace. At the time, she was the TNA Women's World Champion. She's currently now on NXT and the hottest thing going. So I can agree, especially since then, the 4th holding the TNA champion, which is probably a pretty important belt in the women's division of the world of pro wrestling. TNA might even have the best current roster and crop of women's wrestlers. It's arguable. So I'll have to say I agree with Jordynne Grace, and once she gets to the main roster, I think Grace is going to take off. I'm not saying I'm the biggest fan of Jordynne Grace, but you can't deny her athletic ability. So I'll agree with Jordynne Grace, and she's only going to get higher. I see her as a champion. Just giving you a non-biased view here. Number 5, the former eye candy from WOW, Women of Wrestling, That would be Jordan Grace, who at this time here in the summer of 2024 was the CMLL Women's World Champion, which I don't believe belongs in the top 5. I don't believe Willow Nightingale belongs in the top 5. Even when she was the TBS champion, she wasn't in the top 5. I get it. She's effervescent and like popping open a bottle of champagne. She's a little thick, and that's what everybody likes in this day and age. I'm not saying anything. I like thick, too. Willow Nightingale's come a long way. She's been around longer than you think. I don't think she's top 5 in the world. I'd arguably say I don't think she's top 10 in the world. Just my stance on Willow Nightingale. Although a very good worker, she's come a long way. And the CMLL belt, Women's Championship, I don't know if it ranks that high as far as Women's World Champions. Number 6, Natsuko Tora. Konnichiwa, bitches. Arigato from the Chaos-san. Who was the World of Stardom champion. Now, I'm going to say that to say this because I tell it like it is. The Stardom group and the Stardom Championship for women, that women's division, which is a women's organization, I believe, in general, has really grown and gotten some credibility in the wrestling world. I don't know if it's because of the Joshis, Kenny Omega, AEW, Tony Khan. I don't know why. I'm just telling you. I'm not familiar with Tora, but I am familiar with Kingdom. So I'm not sure if I could say she would be top 6 women in the world. I would say no. I would have to do more research. The belt doesn't belong in the top 6 in the world, and I don't think she does too. And again, I'm saying honestly without really seeing her work, but I have seen a lot of the women over in Stardom, whether it be Julia, Megan Bain, etc., etc., etc. Number 7 here in the end of summer, August of 2024, and the PWI Top 500 issue, the rankings for the women's top 10. Mercedes Sasha Banks Monet at number 7. She's the AEW TBS champion. She's the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's champion, which to me really means nothing. I'm just telling you, the Women's Strong Championship, I believe that's over from New Japan as well. Started the whole connection over there between AEW and what they have going on. I'm not impressed. She hasn't done much. We know what she's done now with Camille and feeding her to the Lions. To everybody from Statlander to Jamie Hayter or whoever else comes along Monet's way. Was she at one time top 5 in the world, top 3, top 10? As Sasha Banks? Absolutely. Is she holding the second biggest women's championship in the second biggest country in the promotion, I should say, in the world? Arguably AEW, right? I don't think she belongs at number 7. Even here in the summer of 2024, she wasn't really doing anything. She has not had the impact. Money-wise, ticket seller-wise, attendance-wise, ratings, rankings, whatever you want to say. Now, she certainly got paid a lot of money and is at the number 1 level, perhaps in all of women's pro wrestling as being the highest paid. But she hasn't performed in the ring, which we know she can. I think she's sitting back on her laurels. I think she's got lazy. I'll say it. That's just an opinion. I'm not her, obviously. Not into all that. You know what I mean. So is she number 7 at this point in the summer of 2024? I guess there's an argument to be made for it. But me personally, and her presentation and the whole package, no. Number 8. And I believe this woman belongs here. I believe she's being misused. I believe she belongs on the main roster. I'm not quite sure what happened. She has a little bit of a reputation for injuring people. I don't believe it. She was a star in multiple other companies, especially WWE and NXT. She's the current, I believe, still Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Where the fuck is Athena? They have Athena here at number 8 in the top 10 in the world. She's definitely a top 10 current 2024 women's wrestler in my mind. Ring of Honor or not. When she was Ember Moon, so on and so forth, Athena is an unbelievable grappler. Being misused, I guess, if you want to be the heavyweight champion in a 5th or 6th rate company, there's still a lot to be said for it. Because if you make this top 500 list, or any list in any sport, you are the creme de la creme out of all the thousands and millions that are trying that. So just remember that for everyone who talks about these different things, including myself. Man, I can learn something too. At the time, and still currently, I believe, Athena is the women's world champion for Ring of Honor. Definitely belongs on the main roster. Definitely is a top 10 women's wrestler in the world right now. Really, what a joke in the way she's been misused and how so many people have been misused here today, gone tomorrow, current flavor of the month when it comes to AEW. I'm just telling it like it is. I enjoy AEW in the 5 years it's been around. I was excited in 2019 through 2020, 21, made it through the pandemic into 22, 23. But starting around 23 and into now, this last year plus, terrible. Hit or miss, yeah, matchmakers, some great pay-per-views and matchups. But overall, with ring psychology, storytelling, emotional investment, you really lost a lot on the ball. And the talent roster has done nothing but getting better. And the stories and the product has gotten worse. I'm just giving it to you straight. Clip it. If you don't like it, I don't care. This is our channel. I don't work for anybody. Remember that? I think you do. So Athena, what a misjustice. Number 9 in the top 10 women's in the world for PWI 500, August 2024. Again, persona non grata. Information is already gone and delivered, and this is old news right now. It just is. Got to do something better about it, PWI. I can go to any website, any TikTok, any YouTube, and get the same information and have it current. But you want to put this out and date it for December 2024, charge 10, 11 bucks for it, 12 with tax, whatever the fuck it is, really. And then this is the product you get. So if you like the stories, I guess it's okay. But if you want to go with anything that's accurate, and I get it to work, it's kayfabe, but it's the numbers and what you have to go on, no matter who bitches and complains about ratings and ticket prices and how many are actually in the building, what it's set up for and all that. You got your head up of your ass if you don't think television rankings and all that means something, and how many millions of hits on YouTube in a certain amount of time as compared to the bigger moments and whatever stars were there. It all shows. Numbers aren't always the only thing to go by, but they very rarely lie. And a lot of it is the facts. It's just that simple. You guys got to know this. And I know that you do. And, oh, by the way, before we get on, speaking of women, thank you to the over 40% of you, 40 over that, on this channel, out of my 2,000 plus subscribers and coming up on 1 million total views, and the thousands that have tuned in over this last month, as I said, again, much love and respect. 40-something% of you are women. The female audience. My wife thanks you, my daughter, my granddaughter, and heck, who am I to say no to a woman? I thank you too. And of course, one of our top moderators here on the channel, the OTS Tribal Queen, is also in that demographic. So, men, I don't know where you are, but you should be here if you want to hang out with women. I'm just saying, those are the facts. Number 9, after we got off the disgrace of what they're doing to Athena, number 9, here was the TJPW Princess of Princesses champion, which means nothing to me in rankings, and whether you belong in the top 10. Although this lady, I have seen her in AEW, she's represented herself, is Mayu Moi, I believe, Watanabe. That's right, Miss Watanabe, we'll say. She's been over here in AEW. I don't know a lot about her, but I have seen her work. Is Watanabe, because of the title, should be in the top 10? No. Is she one of the top 10 women wrestlers in the world, in my opinion? With only knowing a little bit about her, but seeing her work? No. But this is what happens when PWI, the wrestling world, no matter what company you're in, the society we're living in, whether it's from children to middle age, to the adults, to the younger people, to the elderly, you gotta please everybody. Stop with trying to please everybody and present the facts and the content of someone's character and how they work and what they put into it instead of the color of their skin, their gender identity, and who they are or what they look like and skin color. What the fuck is wrong with society? That's why we are where we are. Hello? Gotta please everybody. And PWI, you're guilty of it with this. You got to get everybody in. You got to please everybody. That's the reason why you have 50 different divisions and rankings here in your magazine. And I'll break it down briefly at the end. So don't go anywhere. So that's number 9, the top 10 women in the world. for August of 2024. Listen, it's not mine. It's not mine. This is what Pro Wrestling Illustrated is supposedly the godfather or godmother of magazines. Number 10, the former WWE Women's Champion. They don't tell you which one, whether it was the Women's World Champion, the Women's just regular champion. They're two different titles, Raw and SmackDown. Number 10, who I consider perhaps a top 10 wrestler in the world. Not being used that way now, but she certainly carried the company during the pandemic. This pandemic. And that would be Bayley. That's right, Bayley, who's from this area, the greater New England tri-state northeast area, in the shadows of Titan Towers. Bayley, especially when she was in NXT, and she's only grown, and she's hit it big on the main rosters as well. Bayley's an unbelievable technical grappler, can wrestle any way you want. I don't know if she's been used and booked the right way. I would say no. Here she's number 10 because she was the former champion. I guess I could say she's in the top 10, and I agree with that. I agree with some of this, but not a lot of it. Bayley's perhaps definitely a top 10 women's wrestler in the world at any time over these last handful of years. What do you guys think? So I wanted to present to you what we've been doing here on the channel as far as Pro Wrestling Illustrated, the PWI Top 500, the ratings and rankings in general, we'll say rankings, and present different content to you guys to consume. And again, different things that I want to talk about. I hope your notebooks are out and you guys are paying attention. Because that's why I'm here, to make sure that you're better off when you walk out than when you walked in. So you can hold on a fucking conversation in the IWC, at a venue, your next event, party, a Christmas gathering, family, friends, co-workers, at the water cooler, the pub, the restaurant, the bar. I don't know where you go, man. Whether you're on Busted Open Radio, a podcast, or wherever you are. So that you can actually have a conversation and add to it and know what the fuck you're talking about. We're definitely going to go into another Chaos Corner show and cover the top tag teams. So I don't want you guys to go anywhere, but again, to my point of how they have to please everybody. And again, I can show it to you. Same bullshit. Hopefully I don't get stepped on because of that. You guys know that I present the facts here. Okay? So they have here, and again, I'll give you the criteria. The ratings are based on the won-loss records for the past month, quality of opposition, and an inherent skill of each wrestler or tag team. Unless it's submitted by the promoters, so there you go right there. If you don't submit anything, it doesn't matter. Ratings are compiled by a committee consisting of several different people, a panel, if you will, of PWI, which used to have the best panel in the world in the magazine era. Guys that you respected for what they did. But here they want to please everybody. So I'll give them credit. They work hard to compile and put this together, but that's what their criteria is. And what I want to know is what the fuck is their criteria for doing this? I'm not questioning guys like Bill Apter from the past or even current Harry Burkett and other legends that were on here. Stu Peters, I believe his name was a legend. I hope I got it right. Even Kevin McElvaney, who I believe is the head honcho, the brochacho, the head cheese over there right now at PWI. I'm not sure. But they have a heavyweight men's division, a women's heavyweight division, WWE Raw for men and women, SmackDown for men and women, AEW for men and women, TNA for men, the TNA Knockouts, New Japan Pro Wrestling and their sister company Stardom, MLW men and women, NWA men and women, the NXT men and women, Ring of Honor men and women, Triple A. No me jodas, maricón, muévete, culo, pendejo. What I say, man? They not. It was a joke, man. Lighten up. A Triple A men and women's division. This is no lie. I'll briefly show it to you. Look at how it's broken down. Almost anybody can get in the rankings, and it should be an honor to be in this, or work or not. Look at the different categories. If I could scan it here properly, you can see it for yourself. Hopefully I'm going slow enough so you can check it out. And all the different fucking categories and rankings they have on here. And that's just the top of it. Because they have the top 10 tag teams. They have the ever-present and most popular, which I used to enjoy back in the day. They have the most hated category, top 10, which will be interesting, and we'll get into those. And as far as other companies and promotions, and I'll show it to you, CMLL, men and women rankings, Noah, TJPW, All Japan Pro Wrestling, Marigold Wrestling, the independent scene, they actually have a ranking for that. Pan-African of all places. A Progress Women's rankings division for Progress. And also for the men in Progress. You guys do research, do your own due diligence. Use your own discernment. And I'll show you, this isn't made up. This is what they have. It's a lot of work that goes into this. But make it relatable, like I make this show relatable. That's all that I'm saying. So we'll be back. Oh, wait, there's a few more that I missed. Don't go anywhere yet. We're only 35 minutes in. They also have a Dragon Gate promotion rankings in here. DDT Wrestling. Over the Top Wrestling. ICW in Scotland. Revolution Pro Wrestling. And WXW. All those companies are represented in here in different divisions and rankings for the top stars, men and women. They have North Wrestling. We go down even a little further. GCW, which is a company in its own by itself with its own personal agenda. They have some good matches with some really weird stuff going on. They're trying to be on the cutting edge of what current society can be, or at least one sector of it. Again, I enjoy some of it. A lot of it isn't for me. But hey, they're putting out the product in GCW. They have Hood Slam Wrestling, Defy Wrestling, and of course, because it's on cable TV and run by Al Snow and does have history, they have Ohio Valley Wrestling rankings in here as well. So everything from pillar to post, coast to coast, and border to border, as I show it to you. I don't know if the screen picks it up. Everything that you can think of in different promotions and organizations. Now tell me rankings don't mean something when they put together this thick magazine they charge over $10 for, which has, 100 and something pages in it. And they try to break down, and again, it's not current. But this is what they put out there for you fans to consume. And again, the social media is taking over. So pretty soon, you don't step up your game. Yeah, it's all colorful and nice. You got different stories and beautiful covers, and it's got an unbelievable history in this magazine. It leaves a lot to be desired. I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. Come on back. We got more content. We have more shows. Don't you dare miss it.